Tonight, we can say with confidence that the primary season is over and the general election campaign has begun.
America, this is our moment. This is our time. Our time to turn the page on the policies of the past. Our time to bring new energy and new ideas to the challenges we face. Our time to offer a new direction for this country that we love.
No matter who wins this election, the direction of this country is going to change dramatically. But the choice is between the right change and the wrong change, between going forward and going backward.
It's not change when John McCain decided to stand with George Bush 95% of the time, as he did in the Senate last year.
But your government often acts as if it is completely unaware of the changes and hardships in your lives. Our disgraceful failure to do so here in New Orleans exposed the incompetence of government at all levels to meet even its most basic responsibilities. They've seen me put our country before any president, before any party, before any special interest, before my own interest.
There are many words to describe John McCain's attempt to pass off his embrace of George Bush's policies as bipartisan and new. But change is not one of them.
The wrong change looks not to the future, but to the past for solutions that have failed us before and will surely fail us again.
Because change is a foreign policy that doesn't begin and end with a war that should have never been authorized and never been waged.
You know, I have a few years on my opponent. So I'm surprised that a young man has bought into so many failed ideas. I've worked with the president to keep our nation safe. I hate war.
It's not change when he promises to continue a policy in Iraq that asks everything of our brave men and women in uniform and nothing of Iraqi politicians. A policy where all we look for are reasons to stay in Iraq while we spend billions of dollars a month on a war that isn't making the American people any safer.
For too long, we have let history outrun our government's ability to keep up with it. That the course Senator Obama advocates could draw us into a wider war with even greater sacrifices, put peace further out of reach, and Americans back in harm's way. It's a tough war we're in. It's not going to be over right away. There's going to be other wars. I'm sorry to tell you, there's going to be other wars. We will never surrender, but there will be other wars.
I won't stand here and pretend that there are many good options left in Iraq. But what's not an option is leaving our troops in that country for the next 100 years, especially at a time when our military is overstretched, our nation is isolated, and nearly every other threat to America is being ignored. It's time to refocus our efforts on Al-Qaeda's leadership in Afghanistan and rally the world against the common threats of the 21st century. Terrorism and nuclear weapons, climate change and poverty, genocide and disease. That's what change is.
Americans ought to be concerned about the judgment of a presidential candidate who says he's ready to talk in person and without conditions with tyrants from Havana to Pyongyang.
You have to talk to folks that you may not necessarily like, and you can't put down impossible preconditions for conversation. You can't say, give me what I want before I will talk to you. That doesn't work. It won't work with Syria. It won't work with Iran. So yes, I would be talking, we have an embassy that's open in Damascus, Syria. So I would send the ambassador back and begin a dialogue.
And what about Iran?
I would talk to Iran. We were starting to have quiet conversations with Iran at a low level.
I take America's economic security as seriously as I do her physical security. For 8 years, the federal government has been on a spending spree that added trillions to the national debt.
It's not change when he offers 4 more years of Bush economic policies that have failed to create well-paying jobs or ensure our workers or help Americans afford the skyrocketing costs of college, policies that have lowered the real incomes of the average American family and widened the gap between Wall Street and Main Street.
If America is going to achieve energy independence, we need a president with a record of putting the nation's interests before the special interests of either party.
Change is building an economy that rewards not just wealth, but the work and the workers who created it. It's understanding that the struggles facing working families can't be solved by spending billions of dollars on more tax breaks for big corporations and wealthy CEOs, but by giving a middle-class tax break to those who need it and investing in our crumbling infrastructure and transforming how we use energy and improving our schools and renewing our commitment to science and innovation.
But making empty promises to bring back lost jobs gives nothing to the unemployed worker except false hope. That's not change we can believe in. Senator Obama pretends we can address the loss of manufacturing jobs by repealing trade agreements and refusing to sign new ones. That we can build a stronger economy by limiting access to our markets and giving up access to foreign markets. The global economy exists and is not going away. We either compete in it, which Americans can do, or we lose more jobs, more businesses, more dreams. We lose the future. But the American people didn't get to know me yesterday, as they're just getting to know Senator Obama. Change what must be changed. A change election. The right change, the right kind of change, a change in their lives. And some of these changes, the right change. I'm running for President Bush's third term. And that's not change we can believe in. We should be able to deliver bottled hot water to dehydrated babies.